Hey up everyone, Magpie Gaming here. I hope you're all doing well. In this video I'm going to talk about my thoughts and feelings on the beta weekend for Battlefield 6 that we've just had, and what I liked, what I didn't like, what I'd like to see going forward, just things like that. There's some of my gameplay in the background of this video. It's not that great though. I was sucking quite a lot for the first few hours of playing the game, but I did really enjoy it. So starting right at the top, you've got all the controversy surrounding Secure Boot, which is required to play the game on the PC. This doesn't affect you guys on the console, but for us PC gamers, you have to have Secure Boot enabled via your BIOS to play the game. There was a lot of controversy about this. A lot of people don't like that. There was a lot of people that didn't understand what it is, etc. So basically what Secure Boot is, it's just an option on your BIOS settings that needs to be enabled. What this does is it allows the booting up of the PC to check the integrity of your Windows install. The vast majority of cheats and hacks and workarounds in games will use kernel level access to basically evade anti-cheat in games. What Secure Boot allows the computer to do is to check to see if there's been any changes. These changes are then flagged up and you're given the option to do something about them. This also allows the game to do exactly the same thing. As you're launching the game, it will check your Secure Boot logs to make sure that there's nothing untoward in there, and as long as everything's all fine and dandy, it'll let you launch into the game. When I first put this on, I wasn't too sure about putting Secure Boot on. I'm not somebody that likes to mess about in the BIOS too much. I'd like to think that I've got sort of medium knowledge of tinkering with it, so I can understand people that never touched BIOS settings getting a little bit freaked out about having to do this. I will put a link in the description down below which takes you to the EA page, which then takes you to all of the main manufacturers of motherboards, and each one of those has a little guide telling you how to do it depending on who manufactures your motherboard. For me, it's an Asus motherboard. It was as simple as just going into the boot menu on the BIOS and toggling it on to enabled instead of disabled, saving the settings, and that was it. I didn't have to do anything else, and I think for the vast majority of people it's the same kind of process. Now I must admit, when I first launched the game and it was loading into a map, I got a blue screen of death. Didn't get a chance to read what it was because it just flashed up, and literally a second later my PC rebooted. After that I had no issues with crashes within the game whatsoever. It wasn't a problem. So yeah, I can understand some people feeling a little bit of trepidation about putting Secure Boot on, but to be fair, it does secure your computer a lot more against attacks on it, so it's probably an option that you should have on rather than have disabled if you don't have it already enabled anyway. Next up, we've got the queues to get into the game. Yes, they put a queue system in just to make sure that everybody got a smooth transition from launching the game to getting into playing the game. Some people were taking screenshots and there were like 200,000 in the queue and stuff like that, and they were complaining. The largest queue that I was met with was around 25,000 people, and literally 20 to 25 seconds later I was in the game. It was a very smooth process, and even people that were in queues of 100,000 plus said they were literally only waiting a couple of minutes to get into the game. Obviously Thursday and Friday was early access, so you had to have a code to get into that part of the open beta. Saturday, Sunday was just open to everybody. I haven't seen any issues with getting into servers on the Saturday and Sunday. I didn't play the Saturday and Sunday, I only played the Thursday and Friday, but I had no issues whatsoever getting into the game, and I don't think anybody else did either. So, you know, thumbs up to EA for making sure that the servers scaled really well over the weekend. I think it was a good test of their systems, and it looks like they came out with a good thumbs up from most people. Next up, we've got game performance. The game just ran great for me. It's not hugely demanding. Obviously, if you tweak your settings down, it's going to play a lot better than it would on high settings. But I think even on a low to medium sort of tier system, it's playing really well. I haven't seen too many people complaining about how the game plays. You get the odd person here and there that says it's trash and it wasn't playing very well, but for me personally, it played like a dream. It was lovely, it was smooth. The movement mechanics, a lot of people complaining that it's too fast. For me, it was more or less spot on. If anything, the sprinting was a little bit too slow. It took a little while, especially on the Iberian Peak, the Liberation Peak map. It was a little bit of a run to get to that first sort of conquest flag. But other than that, I didn't really have too many issues with it. Time to kill was a little bit up and down. I seemed to go down really quickly compared to other people that I was definitely hitting, and wasn't going down as quick as they should have been. But again, it's a beta weekend, so things like this will get tweaked and changed as we go along. Sound in the game was amazing. The sound mechanics just blew me away. The sound of the jets going over was actually deafening at some times, but you know, realism, it's coming into it. Footsteps was good. I could hear enemy footsteps coming. I couldn't distinguish between those and sort of good guy footsteps, but that's where your minimap comes into things. You just need to check your minimap real quick. Destruction mechanics were good. I don't think they went as far as they could have done on some of the maps. Destruction mechanics have been better in previous games, and by that I mean you've been able to destroy more than what I believe you could in these maps. But again, we only got a small showing of the maps that are going to be available in the game, so you know, it was good, but I'd like to see a little bit more destruction. So next up we've got the map design. I really didn't like Liberation Peak. I've got to be honest, I wasn't too much of a fan of that. But it's more a sort of snipers map, not a huge snipers map, I must say. There's quite a lot of urban combat mixed in there, so it's a little bit of everything. But there was just too many open areas for me. I do prefer personally to have close quarters combat, sort of the urban combat. So Siege of Cairo and the Iberian Offensive really sort of suited me, especially Siege of Cairo. I really enjoyed that map. It sort of harked back to the Grand Bazaar map, which I love. I really hope to bring that map back. I only played on the closed weapon conquest mode, so I can't really discuss the other modes. I didn't really play them at all. It was just the closed weapons one, which I really enjoyed. I think closed weapons should be the way forward anyway in the game. I don't think you should be open to be able to add any weapon to any class, but that's just my personal opinion. There was a lot of talk about it beating out the Call of Duty beta. At one point, over 500,000 people were playing the game, which is amazing for a game, or for a franchise even, that was dead in the water for the last couple of years, according to a lot of people. And with Battlefield 2042, I kind of agree. That wasn't the best Battlefield game ever, but for 500,000 players on a beta, that is really good. I think that's down to people basically just wanting a good Battlefield game, and they want to check it out and see if the promises that have been made are being sort of passed over. I do think EA and DICE are listening. There's a lot in there that people have asked for that is in there. I also think it's just generally there's not a great deal out there FPS wise that there is to play. Obviously a lot of people will be waiting for the next Call of Duty, but that's a couple of months away yet. I don't know if there'll be any open betas for that, but I think people just wanted to play a half decent game and jumped on the bandwagon to do it. The numbers, we'll see what gets repeated next weekend, because obviously next weekend there is another open beta of the game, so we'll see if those kind of numbers are repeated. They're going to add another map in, which I think is Empire State, which is obviously based in New York City, and I think there's a couple more game modes going in as well, so it'd be interesting to see what the numbers are for that. But I think going forward, EA and DICE have a pretty good game on their hands. You know, they've stuck to what they said they would do thus far, giving the community what they want out of the game. Yes, there's tweaks and changes that need to be made here and there, but that's going to be par for the course. It's just a beta. It's going to take time to ground everything down and get things working just how we all would like them to work. And tweaks and changes will carry on well after the release of the game anyway. It's just one of those games that will be constantly tweaked and changed just to get the right balance. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm loving it. I think for me, it beats out Battlefield 5, definitely. For me, it definitely beats out Battlefield 2042. Both good games in their own right, but just not what I'm always, what I've been looking for. Does it beat Battlefield 1? Well, yeah, the setting does. It's the modern day setting, which is what I prefer, but I did love Battlefield 1. I've got to give it props, but I suppose Battlefield 4, it's on a par with that for me. You may agree, you may disagree. Let me know in the comment section down below what you thought of the game, what you'd like to see changed, or what you thought they got right, what they got wrong. Let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching and listening. Do not forget to share, like, and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care.